Hi there, it's Adrian here. So I've noticed of late that every video I do, I always differentiate between poise and posture. And I thought I'd go into that a little bit more today. And if you've not seen one of my videos before, maybe I should quickly make that differentiation one more time. So for me, posture's just a shape. It can be rigidly held. It has no real value if it's rigidly held. It's still tense, it still takes effort. And we shouldn't really be putting efforts into just standing up. It should be a natural thing for us. Poise is a quality. It has dynamic flow. It's relaxed. And it has a different quality in our awareness. There's an awareness of ourselves and activity. It's a much more gentle and free-flowing kind of thing. So. The thing I want to tell you about actually is the way the skeleton works. So the interesting thing about the skeleton is that it can't stand up. Think about that. A skeleton can't stand up. And it wants to completely fall down into a big mess. And the reason it can't stand up is there's lots of joints. You've got a point down at my ankle here, you can't see that, it's off camera. My ankle, knee, hip, all the spine, and then 5 kilograms of weight roughly on top of the head. So that's kind of crazy. How on earth is this thing ever supposed to stand up? It's completely unstable. And the way it stands up is through the postural reflexes, adjusting and readjusting all the time. So your balance is a movement activity. So standing up is just as dynamic as walking or running. It's just more subtle. So, we can sway back and forth and we can And that's just our poise, and we can do it so skillfully that it looks still to an outside observer, but the inner quality is still very dynamic. Now I'm sat down at the moment, which takes my ankles and knees out of the equation and some of the range of my hips. So I will look more stable than normal. I'm a bit of a fidget when I stand up, to be honest. But most people when they stand do fidget actually. No one really just stands solid. And that's what you want for your poise generally. You want that sense of flow. So if you've ever seen one of those diagrams, usually side on, with a plumb line drawn from like ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle. It's like a plumb line drawn down there, as if you're supposed to achieve that plumb line. Like that is correct posture. And you're not. You're not supposed to achieve that line. That line is just the average of all the points you've wobbled about, because you're always in movement. So don't try to have some idealized posture, just keep moving. Now, you'll know from, well, maybe you won't, if you haven't watched that video, I'll tag it at the end. But I believe our posture and our poise is very much related to our engagement with an outer environment. So being aware of space around you, and then we'll engage with that. Will it be expansive out into it? And that will, as a byproduct, our body will follow. We basically go where our attention is. I watched my daughter the other day. Well, she came into the kitchen, and she's only 5, and she came in and said, Daddy, look how still I can stand. It was kind of hilarious because she couldn't stand still at all. It was it's the most inept attempt to stand still. But it was interesting because what she didn't try to do was stand rock solid, like she was with tension. Actually, what she did was just allow her postural reflexes to do their thing and to try not to interfere with it. Her attempt at saying, Daddy, look how still I can stand, was actually her, I don't know what her thinking was behind this, I didn't ask her, but it appeared to be just not interfering with her natural balance. So in fact, she was kind of wobbling all over the place, because for a 5-year-old, that's where her skill is at the moment. We build up our skill of poise and balance over years, and obviously as we grow bigger, we have to keep learning where our balance is. But it was very interesting that she didn't try to lock down, she tried to allow her natural postural reflexes to do their thing, and that was her definition, it appeared. She probably wouldn't have thought of it that way, but it appeared that was her definition of standing still, simply not interfering with the balance reflexes and the postural reflexes. So one other thing I thought I'd add to this is, because I keep getting adverts on Facebook. Facebook algorithms I don't know why. They seem to think I'll be really interested in posture products. Go figure, huh? And they're all awful. If I'm going to be brutally honest, and I often leave a comment saying, this is just posture, it's just rigid. And you often get these braces that pull the shoulders back, and there's no poise in it, it's totally rigid, it's fixed. And I don't really see there's much value in that. It's you know, if anything, the habit to want to pull back against it's still there, the habit to slump is still there. It's just that you're fighting the slump with this brace thing, you know, with this web of elasticated stuff that you put on. Very tiring, I should imagine. If you don't know what poise is in the first place, those things are just going to leave you tired. I don't really think they have much great value. And a couple of years ago, there was a real trend for wearable tech, where you'd wear this thing, sometimes attached to the back of your neck somehow, or you'd wear it in some way, and it'd hook up to your mobile phone, and it would beep or buzz every time it caught you slouching. Now the interesting thing about that is every review I've ever read of one of those, and there's been some interviews with people doing them, you can search out online, they all hate it. Because it's just a judgment. It's like, oh, I've been reminded again, oh, my posture. And every single time what they do with it is brace. They go, oh, I've got to get my posture right. Which of course is just tense again. And this machine, this gadget, it just annoys the hell out of people, frankly. Now, interesting, I think if you'd had Alexander lessons, you know what poise is. And you were reminded, you find yourself slumped a bit and this thing vibrates and reminds you, you could, if you already know, go, yes, let's just come out of it. Of course, if you don't, there's always a reaction. It's always like, oh God, tightening. So ironically, I think those things could be useful if maybe you'd already had Alexander lessons. As a reminder, but how much one needs that reminder anyway? If you're having lessons, you're getting a weekly reminder. So I still don't think there's a great deal of value, but interesting, they don't seem to be pushing those products so much anymore. Maybe because the feedback hasn't been great. Let me know if you've ever tried one. I'd be interested to hear about it. Okay, so if you'd like to hear any more about the Alexander technique, or contact me for a bit of help with your posture, with your back pain or RSI and neck pain, do get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. I work in Central London and North London. All right, take care. Bye.